questions I'd like to begin with. Uh, I understand there's a little controversy between the words hypnotist and hypnotherapist and hypnotherapy. Would you mind explaining that a little bit?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure what the controversy is, but a hypnotist, of course, I think is anyone who can hypnotize, who has learned the techniques. Hypnotherapist means that I have gone through a certification course in using hypnosis for various methods of helping people with physical or psychological problems, obviously weight loss and smoking, but past life regressions, any kind of early life trauma, that sort of thing. So as a certified hypnotherapist, I've gone through the course, I've gotten certification.
Mm-hmm. So then it wasn't a parlor thing that you'd see on television, people telling them to hypnotize and raise their right hand and so on. This had a health-based procedure involved, help people.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't do any stage shows. I don't make people dance like chickens or anything like that.
Yeah, I understand that you work in the area of past life regressions.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I've been a believer in reincarnation all my life that I can remember. And so a past life regression is a way of putting someone into an altered state of consciousness and then having them go back and review a past life. Mm-hmm. Now, there's going to be a lot of people say that they don't believe in past lives, but what's interesting is that I've found that this works even on people who don't have that belief system. And what I do is I will tell them just to use it as a metaphor. If they don't like the literal interpretation, just use it as a metaphor. But I found it to be very, very helpful.
How did you happen to get involved in this particular aspect of your life?
Like I say, I've always been interested in reincarnation, and I used to work at the phone company, and I found out that one of the guys I worked with was a hypnotist and that he did past life regressions. And as soon as I found that out, I just about vaulted over my desk to go and talk with him and set up an appointment. Mm-hmm. And over the span of, I don't know, maybe a couple of years, I reviewed probably more than 20 of my own past lives.
Ooh, okay. Is that an unusual number?
Pardon me?
Is that an unusual number of past lives that people have more than that?
I honestly don't know. I know of many people who have done that many. Mm-hmm. Maybe just from lack of interest or something, I don't know. I found it profoundly interesting.
Mm-hmm. In the work that you do with people to bring back past memories, past life experiences, is that done to relieve a stress issue that they have or a psychological problem, or is this a matter of curiosity for some people?
It's both. It's absolutely both. When I started, I really didn't have any kind of an issue that I was trying to pinpoint. I wanted to try it and feel it and relive it. But yeah, I've had many people come to me with specific issues, and we have found that it goes back to a past life.
There was a connection then to their issue. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Have you found that rewarding to be able to help someone resolve those issues? What do they say to you when they say,
You know what? Yes, it is rewarding. It's very rewarding. And I would say most of the time when we do find this connection, at that point, at the point where we've done the hypnosis and we're kind of debriefing about it, I don't know that people will see the positive result from that right at the moment, but I think it will change their perspective as they move forward.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. that they
Yeah.
that way. Okay. I find that there's a lot of new emphasis on spirituality and reconnecting with the spirit world. Uh, does this jive with the spirit world concept, or is this something entirely separate?
I believe it does. And it's interesting because the books that I'm writing right now, I'm writing a paranormal mystery series.
Mm-hmm.
Fiction. It's fiction. But the two main characters are a female ex-cop, ex-LAPD, and she teams up with a Navajo medium.
Mm-hmm.
And together what their main thrust is to free souls that are tethered to the earth plane for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
They very often end up solving crimes, solving murders along the way. But because the man's name is Sam, because he's Navajo, I do have them going back to the Navajo reservation periodically to visit his family and to get involved with crime solving there. And so it's gotten me to delve very deep into the Navajo traditions and mythology. And it just reinforces my own sense that everything is connected. You know, hear this over and over. Everything is connected. But everything is so much simpler than most of our religions these days make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most organized religions have, you know, rules and guidelines and laws and whatever, you know, just forever. And to my mind, it's so much simpler than that. That we're here to learn. When we learn whatever we need to do, we go on to the next life or maybe the next phase of existence.
Mm-hmm.
If we haven't learned our lessons, we come back again. You know, so it's kind of like we have to keep taking the test over and over until we ace it, and then we go on. But yeah, to me, it all ties together. It all makes sense.
How did you arrive at this concept of past lives and spirituality?
You know, when I was younger, I read a lot about spirituality. I was very big into that when I was in my teens and my 20s. And then it just kind of lied fallow for a while. But when I started doing the past life regressions, it all came together. It all made sense. And what surprised me about it was, like I say, when I started doing past life regressions, it was primarily just for fun, just because I wanted to do it. But what's really interesting is that even though I had no intention to do this, it has changed my perspective. So now I have no fear of death. I'm perfectly okay with death because I know that that's the next great adventure. And so to me, death is the great prioritizer. And when you're okay with that, it tends to very quickly prioritize everything else. You know, you realize what's important and what's the small stuff.
You mentioned one of the characters in your book is the Navajo, and that you've become very much interested and fascinated with Navajo traditions. Are some of those traditions included in your novels?
Oh yeah, they are. They are. My characters are based in Los Angeles, so that's where they are primarily. The first book was Ghost Walk.
Okay.
How well you can see that that's breaking up a little bit.
It is.
But like the second book is, that's breaking up. Is Skinwalk.
Skinwalk, okay.
Goes back to the Navajo reservation, and they deal with a Navajo witch, also called a skinwalker or a shapeshifter. And what was interesting for that book was I happened to get in touch with a couple of Navajo Rangers who were part of the tribal police. But these two gentlemen specifically investigate paranormal claims on the reservation. And they were telling me about shapeshifters, skinwalkers. They have their own version of Bigfoot out there, all kinds of things. And I incorporated a lot of what they told me in my book. We would talk on the phone for hours. And when we would get done, I would say, okay, now, how much of this can I use in my book and how much needs to remain a secret? And they said, use it all.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Yes.
It was great.
Are you a Native American?
You know what? I have a teeny tiny bit, like 0.1% or something. I found out. Yeah.
I find that your adventure here is fascinating. What is the name of your latest book? I think you just have one that's been published.
Yeah, the latest one I just released it actually just over a week ago, and it's called Dead Sea Walk. And
say that again, please.
Pardon me?
Say that again, please.
Dead Sea Walk.
Okay, and where is that available?
Well, it's available on Amazon, both a paperback and an ebook.
Okay.
And that's book 25 of my series. Each book has a walk in the title. So Ghost Walk, Skin Walk. Yes. But Dead Sea Walk, my characters end up going to Qumran, Israel, to walk the ruins of Qumran.
Okay.
Which is rumored, of course, to be where Christ spent the last years.
All right. Are you making a religious point in this book?
You know what? That's difficult for me. I have to watch myself that I don't get preachy because I'm not an adherent to any organized religion. So I have to be very careful to walk a fine line and not, disparage the other religions.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very easy to fall into that trap. And it's nice to see that you're very cognizant of not doing that. And so it opens up channels for other people to have some thoughts of their own. That's very good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Do you have a website, by the way?
I do. It's www.newmoonrising.net.
Okay, New Moon Rising. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
Very interesting. Why did you have to choose that?
The moon has always been very important to me. To me, that is the face of the goddess to me, because even though the moon is always there, it's constant, and yet every night it's different. It's always changing. It's a phase. It's in a different part of the sky. It's a different color. And to me, that's the essence of life. It's constant, but yet it's always changing.
That's very good. That's an interesting analogy in terms of a representation of the moon. And I know people talk about the time for the hollow of the moon, and this kind of silly with it, but this sounds much more interesting.
Yeah, I like it. Matter of fact, I recently got this tattoo of the
triple
on my wrist.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yes, all right. And so you are a resident now in Arizona.
Right.
Okay, and from where did you move?
Actually, I was born in Southern California.
Okay.
And got married when I was 19 years old, and my husband and I wanted to get out of the big city. So we actually moved to Oregon, lived there for 9 years, got really tired of the weather there, the rain, and moved to Arizona in 1981 and been here ever since.
Well, it's a good thing you moved. I live in the Seattle area. So we've had nothing but rain for months.
Yeah, we've been watching that because our son lives up there.
So
yeah.
You're very good. The only transgression that I think that saves it all is I don't have to go out if I don't want to.
Yeah, right. There you go. There you go. The only thing is, though, if you do want to go out, you really can't get away from it.
Yeah. So it makes it nice that you moved there. Yeah. What other things would you find that you have planned for the future in terms of exploration of other lives, past life regression, the spirit world, that kind of thing?
You know what? I really don't plan ahead.
I see. So it's sort of by the seat of your pants, as they say.
Exactly, exactly. Matter of fact, even in my writing, I'm what's called a pantser, meaning that I will jot down 3 or 4 bullet points and
Mhm,
just start writing and,
mhm.
and let it grow organically as I go. I very often have no idea what the ending is going to be, or if I do know what the ending is going to be, I have no idea how I'm going to get there,
Uh-huh.
but it'll work out.
You're not an outliner then.
No, not an outliner at all. No. And if I do make a short outline, I never look at it again, so I don't follow it.
Mhm.
But
Now, your character development, do you write a synopsis of what they're like and all that ahead of time, or do they just evolve?
no, they just evolve.
Evolve. Makes them more alive, I mean, doesn't
It does. It
it?
does. And they very often surprise me. So I figure if I'm surprised, I think the reader's going to be surprised also.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Tell me, what is the name of the series again? I want to make sure that our audience understands that and hears it.
Yeah. The first book is called Ghost Walk, but the series is called the Lacey Fitzpatrick and Sam Firecloud Mystery Series.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And these are all now available on Amazon and other stores?
Right. Yeah. They're not in bookstores,
Oh, okay.
but yes, they're on
Julia, you
Amazon,
had your
Barnes and
hand up.
Noble.
Are we
Pardon?
out of time?
Yes, and
Okay.
I'd like to invite you, Mellisa, to come to Traveling Shamans Camp this summer. Perhaps give a little talk or demonstration or workshop on past life regressions.
Wow. Okay. When is that?
August 21st through the 23rd.
Oh, you know what? August 21st is my son's birthday, and we're going to be in Seattle.
Oh, okay. Well, think about next year then.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for being on the show.
Well, thanks very much for inviting me. It was fun.
Thank you, Melissa. We've enjoyed having you, and we wish you well with the sale of your books.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to keep writing.
Good girl. Thank you,
Okay.
Melissa. Good night now.
Good night.